Hello? Ooh. I forget about the camera lenses. Well, as you can probably tell by the hourly music, or by the, let me stand still for a sec. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, as you might know if you've been keeping up with the series, that it's been a while. It's been a while since the last episode. And I thought, hey, I have some time. I have some. I'm I'm awake at 3 in the morning. Let's go ahead and do a quick little episode. Although I'm not sure how quick or little it's going to be. To be honest, I had an idea for this episode, and you would think, oh, it's been like a month. You've probably prepared for it. Anyway, we're going to do a little bit of the preparation for the next the next real part. Because yeah, I've honestly been kind of trying to stay away from the game because I know that it's been a while and I wanted to sort of come back and have that be like a real thing rather than just, yeah, I made the entire town while I was while I was gone, while I was away. So what we're gonna do, unfortunately, I'm gonna say right now, it's not gonna be the most satisfying episode. We're not gonna see like a huge change, and that's because I didn't remember how the island was laid out quite right. I thought that Fauna and I think it's Bam. Yeah, Bam. I thought that Fauna and Bam were like really close to each other, and it turns out they are not. So I gotta change that. So we're gonna go ahead and do the first part of that. Unfortunately, we're not, like I said, we're not gonna see the payoff of that today. But next time, hopefully, we can actually get that part done. Oh boy, is it homes or infrastructure? Let's try homes. Resident. Home design. No, we don't want home design. We want... No! We want to change infrastructure. Why do you have repetitive menus, Thomas? Infrastructure. Yes? I think so. Maybe it is homes. What should I do? Alright, it must be homes then, right? A resident's home. Uh-huh. This isn't the right thing, though, is it? Oh, do you want to talk about redesign? I don't want to redesign anything. I don't think this is right. What's the menu here? Is it infrastructure? Bridges and incline layout change. Okay. We got there in the end. We're gonna go ahead and move. Fauna was the one who was further away, so we're gonna move Fauna a little bit closer. Now, I might have to do this in 2 steps, unfortunately. For you, it's kind of the same, but we're gonna find out first. We're gonna find out if I do if Fauna's in her pajamas. We are going to find out first if I can move Fauna where I actually want her, but I kinda doubt it, so we'll see. And while I do all this, I do want to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes. I made, I believe it was a channel post. If not, I at least posted it to Blue Sky. If you want up-to-date information about what I'm doing, yeah, that's not gonna work. Is that because it's too close to Fauna's existing house, or is it too close to Bam's house? Okay, so this is the really frustrating thing. I want it to be, like, here. But it's too close to Fauna's existing house. So I have to move it first. Yay! Thank you, beach. Actually, is the beach gonna be big enough here? Looks like it, yes. That is adequate for now. So, yeah, unfortunately, I have to move her house out of the way so I can then move it into place. That's really cool. So, yeah, if you want up-to-date information on what's going on with the channel, Blue Sky is the way to do that. That being said, there hasn't been a whole lot of information about the channel, and that's because the last thing I really had to say about it was videos were, and kind of still are, not going to be my top priority right now, and I'm hoping that I can get something resolved soon in regards to that. The short answer, I'll peel back the curtain a bit more. You may have noticed, and this is gonna get really into some of the weeds about content creation, making YouTube stuff, and all that kind of stuff. You may have noticed that in the past there have been a few videos where I have mentioned that there is a Patreon, and now I've never been. There was one joke I made about you should support me on Patreon, and that was a joke, but kind of not. And I mean that to say there was a Patreon. It was technically an ad for a Patreon. What is that? Thwopoid. All right, sick. Yeah, there was a Patreon, and I was technically promoting it, but I said it in a tone that was mostly a joke. So, and I say there was a Patreon for a reason, and that reason is going to seem very backwards, but in short, and this is the thing that's a little bit, oh, why haven't there been any videos? And the unfortunate answer is because I have mail? Okay, well, that's mail that I don't need to show. So the unfortunate reason for why the Patreon was deleted is because I have, for the last while, had something of a job. Rank's got a problem. He probably wants to move. Yeah, you're staying. Sorry, bud. I don't really care for you. I will keep you. Which of these buttons does that? Don't go. Alright. So, I have historically, for the last while, had a tech-related job. And before you go, oh, it was replaced with AI, I don't think so. It was never the most stable job in the first place. And to be honest with you, it's kind of such a flimsy type of employment that I might still have the job and just not have any work available. It's very flaky. Never been a huge fan. To be honest with you, I've been pretty eager to leave that field for a long time. It's just not very fun, and I say fun. What I mean by that is consistent, reliable, dependable, other words that basically mean the same thing and boil down to, why do you want something of a stable career? To avoid that kind of thing. Man, nothing new. So, I say all that to say that I no longer believe that I have that position available to me. And so the backwards reasoning is I removed the Patreon in response to that. Now, you've probably heard a lot of YouTubers, they quit their jobs, they become full-time YouTubers. Hey, help me on Patreon, support me on Patreon. That works for some people, that does not work for me. That's kind of the unfortunate thing, is that I didn't set out to do YouTube stuff necessarily with the intention that this could be my job, but, I wanted to leave the door open for that. And key holder. You can make those? Huh. But I wanted to leave the door open for the option that, hey, I could, maybe make something on YouTube, and I could make, YouTube videos as a, let's just call it a career, why not? Why couldn't I? Other people do, why couldn't I? And, so, I put a Patreon out. never went anywhere, which is fine. It never really had to. But the unfortunate answer to all of that is because the Patreon never went anywhere, it's not really dependable. So, you know, is that to say, oh, it's because the fans don't care? No, goodness, no. I have no qualms with anyone saying, I just don't want to support the guy on Patreon. I can't afford to, don't want to, whatever reason, whatever, fine. I genuinely do what you can, and if that means you watch the videos every so often, or if that just means you don't issue false copyright takedowns. You know, whatever. Any kind of support is appreciated, and I have no issues with people watching and not supporting the videos on Patreon. It just also unfortunately means when push comes to shove, I need to seek opportunities elsewhere, and that's kind of where my attention has been for the last quite a while. I don't think I can say that's where it's been for a full month. Truth be told, this break has been excessive, and I am very eager to get something out, because every day I've been like, I should record today. I should record today. You know, I've got time. I've got time. I might have got time. That's kind of the problem. It's been, you know, mostly a little bit of a draining process trying to find other employment opportunities, and so just kind of one of those things where I don't necessarily want to commit time to doing YouTube stuff when I'm also committing time to doing other things, like trying to have a job. So that is to say something. I honestly couldn't tell you. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is the Patreon is gone. There's no more Patreon. I almost made the joke again that the series is canceled. No, the series is not canceled. But I do have to say that unfortunately I can't say like, oh, this is the start of the comeback. We're gonna be doing regular videos again, or even when the next video is gonna be. Unfortunately, I would love to be able to say, yeah, we'll get things back going and we'll get regular videos again. I would love to say that. The problem is that right now I just can't. And I don't love that, you know. I want to be clear that when I started this series, it was a weekly thing. You know, this was a weekly series. I recorded a video for it every single week. And I would love to be able to do that again. But it's not realistic at this point in time, unfortunately. Now, I do want to say, and YouTubers say this a lot, and it ends up not happening. A lot of people say, like, oh, well, when I do this thing that seems like it's going to take up a lot of my free time, I'm actually going to have more time for recording videos and all that kind of stuff. And it always kind of feels, oh, is this another fossil? It's another fossil! Hey, Blathers, I'm coming back. But yeah, people say a lot of times, like, oh, this is going to give me more free time, and it sort of feels like, how? Like, you're going to be more occupied than you were before, and so I say all that to then lead into, when the hunt is over, I do expect to have more free time. Why? Because, well, to be honest with you, I was kind of working before anyway. When I started doing this stuff, I did have a job. It just wasn't a very time-specific job, and sometimes that gave me more freedom, sometimes that gave me less freedom. So getting something else isn't necessarily going to take more of my time, and hopefully, you know, it's going to take less, or at the very least, it's going to take less energy. I say that, I'm looking into getting kind of a physical job, but oh well, whatever I'm saying is what I'm saying. Sure. So, anyway, all that is to say, why haven't there been any videos for a while? Because I've been busy, is the unfortunate answer. Busy with, mostly in a time sense, a lot in an energy sense, a lot in a I just don't want to sense, unfortunately. And somewhat, I will say as well, it's been kind of hard for me to get back in the saddle with recording stuff, because it's been a while, you know, and when it's been a while since I've done something, it doesn't matter if I like it. It's gonna feel kind of new again. Let's see, I got some stuff from fireworks shows I'm just gonna sell here. So why do I have these? I think I just have these because I had two. I don't think I have a use for those. I say as I keep them anyway. Pigtail, that thing is not pretty, in my opinion. That's fine. Most likely. Okay. So... I think I had a point. Oh yeah, I was just saying, it's kind of hard for me to get back into doing the recording stuff when it's been a while. So that's been kind of an element as well. Alright, so... we can't do all of what I was hoping to do here, but we can do some of it. For one, we need to get rid of these trees. So I do hope that this episode kind of explains a little bit about where I've been, and a little bit about where I am in the future. And also, if you happen to, and then I don't expect this, if you happen to have checked the Patreon that I have referenced in the series and been like, where is it? Where did it go? Why is it not here? Did he mess up the link again? No, well, as far as I know, I didn't. Maybe that's why no one ever supported it, is that I messed up the link the entire time I had it. I don't think I did. I think I did fine. No, but anyway, if you did happen to be wondering where did it go, why don't I have the Patreon available, that's why. It's my backwards answer, saying that I am currently unemployed, therefore I took away the Patreon. I don't know that I really explained that as thoroughly as I maybe should have. I feel like that's one of those things where I'm gonna listen back in editing and I'm gonna be like, oh wow, I really didn't explain that very clearly. I don't want to depend on YouTube, essentially, for, you know, let's say, in the unlikely event this video in particular gets 1 million views. Hey, that could launch a successful YouTube career. The problem with doing YouTube stuff, now I think that YouTube has the potential to be decently stable for a lot of people in terms of being a career. For me, there's a mosquito near me. No. If a mosquito gets too close to you, it'll bite you and then go away. And I'm fine with being bit. I just would like to actually catch it. So my thing is that, you know, let's say this video specifically, the one you're watching right now, it has so many views, so many views. The problem with that is there's a concept in having a job, which is you get paid a certain amount per amount of time you put in. And if I were to, let's say, some people start trickling into the Patreon. My goodness, I'm getting Nook Miles, and I'm interrupting myself. Let's say I get, you know, 3 people to give $1 a month. You know, that's $3. That's better than what I'm doing right now. The problem with that is that's not going to buy very much. That's not going to pay very many bills. And I can't, you know, this is going to make it sound like I am seconds away from homelessness, and it's not like that. But I can't afford to be making like $3 this month, $6 next month. Like I kind of have to get something that pays a decent amount of money. So that's kind of the thing. When I started doing the YouTube stuff, and I don't mean started, I've been a YouTuber off and on for like a decade at this point. But when I started doing this Animal Crossing stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's get the Patreon going, whatever, just something. If the trickle had started then, it could be somewhere by now. The trickle did not start then. The trickle never started, and so it's kind of too late for the trickle, you know. And again, I say, and I this is one of the things is that YouTubers don't like talking about money very often, unless they're financial YouTubers, in which case that's their entire business. But personally speaking, my thing about it is I don't care to tell you I've never made money on YouTube. People will say, oh, well, I made $1,200, whatever. That's never been me, unfortunately. Or fortunately in some ways, unfortunately in others. One single mosquito. And I don't have a problem saying I've never made money on YouTube, because it's just the fact. You know, the reality of YouTube is that a lot of people want to be YouTubers, and I think that, you know, people say like, oh, you gotta get really lucky, and I kind of hate that, because you could say that about anything. You could say like, oh, you want to be a lawyer. Well, you gotta get lucky. You know, maybe that starts with having opportunities to go to law school. This is getting very this is getting very real for an Animal Crossing video. But, you know, a lot of jobs require luck. The thing with YouTube is that it does require some level of luck, but it's kind of like when people say Monopoly is strictly luck-based. No, you gotta know where to put your properties. You gotta know how to make trades with people. All that kind of stuff. Monopoly is a game of skill, dang it, and I want to play it, and no one will play it with me. Sigh. Anyway, so yeah, I don't really like when people say, oh... I was watching my volume bar. Let's put the net away. If you don't have a net equipped, tarantulas and scorpions won't go after you. So let's put the net away. Oh dear. So I don't really like when people say YouTube is luck. You know, you gotta get lucky. You gotta. Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to think of what to say other than lucky, and I can't come up with anything, because the thing is that people say YouTube is very much luck-based. Well, the thing is, people also will say YouTube is very social networking-based. You know, you gotta collaborate with people. You gotta get yourself out there. You gotta appeal to the algorithm. Those things aren't luck. You know, those things are making connections and paying attention to the way that things work. And I mentioned earlier that I've done YouTube stuff. What? I left some litter over here. What? Why did I leave this here? That's so weird. I know that why the sticks are here. I don't know what's with the rest of the litter. That's funny. Anyway, so I've mentioned that I've done YouTube stuff a little bit in the past, and I'm really confused. And I've done some YouTube stuff in the past, and I've had some decent success on it. If you happen, and you haven't, but if you happen to have heard of anything that I've done before, it was probably Portable Oddities, which is a YouTube channel that I ran. And I don't want to say that I'm done with it, because I really like the concept of the channel. It's talking about handheld stuff, like handheld video game systems, mostly Nintendo stuff. I plan on making more videos on that channel, so there's that. But anyway, that channel was decently successful. There were some videos on there that reached, you know, a good number of thousands of views, and, you know, some of those videos did very well. And the main reason why I think that they did was because I put a lot of work into the thumbnails, and I put a lot of work into the presentation. And I don't think that it's fair, and not to me, but I don't think that it's fair to say, oh, these videos were lucky, because Okay, but why? You know, were these videos just lucky, or did they get people's attention? People clicked on it, and then people clicked like, and then people commented, and then the videos got posted to more people, so more people saw them. You know, that's not luck. And so I hate when people say, oh, well, being a YouTuber is about getting lucky. Because it's really not. It's about a lot of things, and luck is one of those. Anyway, that is a bit of a tangent. There's a leaf down there. It's a bug. Look at it go. What a champion. Wow, it is stationary. So, what was my point of even mentioning the thing about YouTube being luck? Maybe it came down to the fact that I'm saying, I don't think that people saying, like, oh, you can't be a YouTuber because, you know, lots of people want to be YouTubers, you gotta get lucky. You know, I don't think that that's what it is. I think it's, you gotta know the market, you gotta know what to do in order to make videos that appeal to people. And, you know, sometimes they change the algorithm on you, and that has an impact on it too. But, you know, aside from that, you need to know how to appeal to your target demographic. That makes this sound extremely, corporate, this channel, like, welcome to Animal Crossing, I have a shovel and I'm destroying the land. But I never really ran this channel with that mindset. I don't really like the idea of, like, corporatizing the Animal Crossing cutesy YouTube channel. To me, this channel is kind of supposed to be a little bit more, let's have some fun and play Animal Crossing, rather than, please support me on Patreon so that I can buy another yacht. To be clear, another yacht would be my first yacht, and I don't really want those. I don't like the ocean. Well, I don't like boats. I've never been on a boat. Maybe I would like boats if I've ever been on a boat. But I have no intention of buying a yacht. Let's see. I'm trying to carve out a space here. This, I think, is the back wall of where Fauna's house is going to go. So let's build out from here, I think. It looks like I'm really digging Fauna's house in here. The funny thing is, Fauna, I think, wakes up at 5 in the morning, which is when her house is going to be moved, so she's never going to see the wall that I'm putting in front of her house. Oh wait, I'm putting this where I need to leave it. So, anyway, I want to say all that to say, you know, if you have the mindset of, you know, you watch this channel, you watch these videos, and you want to be a YouTuber when you grow up, it's one of those things where people say, like, oh, I don't recommend people get into content creation because, you know, it's not very stable. And to be clear, this is one of those things that I think a lot of people don't really fully understand. Making YouTube videos is work. You know, when people say, like, oh, if you make YouTube videos, you have the easiest job in the world, anyone who says that doesn't realize how making YouTube videos actually is. And, you know, in the case of, like, you know, let's imagine for a second that this channel became massively successful. I'm doing it all. I am my own editor, I am my own recorder, I write my own scripts. In this case, there are no scripts, but in some of the channels there are scripts, and I write those scripts. And so, you know, if you're gonna say, like, oh, being a YouTuber is like being, like, the modern day being an actor, where people think being an actor is really great, never appealed to me, but whatever. And, you know, the thing is, when you're an actor, you act. When you're an actor, your job is acting, and that's hard. I'm not discounting the effort that goes into being a good actor, but that's all you're doing. And when you're a YouTuber, you're doing all of it, you know, to different degrees. Some people have teams, and that's fine, but, you know, when you're a YouTuber, like, say, this one, when you're a YouTuber that has the size of a YouTube channel that I have, you're doing it all. You're the editor, you're the writer if you have one, you're the actor if you have one. You are everything. You are the channel. And so, and also you are the PR. That's where a lot of YouTubers kind of stumble, is eventually they kind of need a PR person, and they don't have a PR person. They're a one-man band. So, you know, I don't like when people say, like, oh, being a YouTuber is so easy, it's such an easy job, and a lot of people, I think, they want to be YouTubers because they see it as being something that they can do easily, or they see it as a way to get famous. And I have heard my entire life, if you do YouTube because you want to be rich, or because you want to be famous, or even because, like, you start doing YouTube because you want to make money doing YouTube, people have said the entire time you can make money on YouTube. If that's your incentive for starting doing YouTube, you will not make money doing YouTube. And I think that there is some truth to that. Some. I don't think it's all truth. I think that the YouTube landscape has changed a lot over the years. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that, you know, someone who got their start 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't think 20 exists yet. As in, I don't think YouTube was around for 20 years yet. It's close. It might be just there, but you weren't making money on YouTube 20 years ago, and that's more so what I'm trying to say. So, I just did my classic figure 8. Yeah, let's clear up the rest of this. I know I have this stream here. The stream is going to have to get connected to the new river. The new river, I think, is going to have to be a bit of a narrow guy. I'm not really quite sure how to integrate that. Yes, I saw the balloon. I was mid thought, and for one time in my life, I didn't want to interrupt myself. Globe. Wow. Let's see how detailed the globe is. I can't read any of that. I'm guessing that's Europe somewhere. I assume this is actually... Yeah, okay, this is Earth. Sorry, I have to see the American side. Huh. It's weird to see it colored that way. Anyway, so... was there a point to what I was saying? Or was I just rambling like I like to do? I know there was a point. I couldn't tell you what the point was anymore. I think the point was just YouTube hard, and I feel like there should have been more to say to that. Maybe I was just on the topic of YouTube being, you know, I don't think YouTube is luck-based. I think that YouTube has a lot of controllable elements to it, and I also think that mindset leads to a lot of people maybe going, oh, well, I did everything, you know, I was a good video editor, I made good stuff, I made good YouTube content, why aren't people watching, and I think that a big part of it might come down to, quit whining, no, a big part of it might come down to the fact that so YouTube has a system where they actually do show videos that aren't very popular. I see them on the iPad version of YouTube. I'm sure they're on the phone version as well. Probably the desktop version. I mostly watch YouTube on my iPad. But they do show videos that have, you know, 50 views or less, and 50 views or fewer, thanks. No, but they do. I do see videos recommended that are, you know, 50 views or under. And so, well, why are those videos not doing well? Well, I'll tell you something. If I did not see the view count, I would be able to pick out the videos that are the smaller ones, the ones that have fewer views, because a lot of people just aren't very good at thumbnails. And a lot of people aren't very good at, like, titling their videos. And I know that's, yeah, it's one of those things where people would people are gonna hear me say that, and they're gonna go, what is this guy talking about? No, that's one of those things where people might look at, my channel and they might go, oh, well, what's this guy talking about? He doesn't know how to make good YouTube thumbnails. And maybe not. If you look at my thumbnails, you might say, oh, these thumbnails aren't very good, and that's fine. My thumbnails, my titles, I do what I can with what I have, and what I have is not necessarily what I wish I had in a lot of cases, but it gets the job done. That is actually one thing I wanted to talk about. Since I've been gone, this channel has grown, and that scares me. I don't know why people are discovering the channel. I don't know what has happened. I don't know why people are here. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you are okay with the fact that the first video you're getting from me, since you subscribed probably, is me talking about how YouTube is really hard and I am not depending on it for long-term long-term success. Enjoy your stay. I hope it's a good one. No, but I do think that people need to understand that if their videos aren't doing very well, it might be the thumbnails, it might be the titles, and people can tell when a thumbnail I should say, people can tell when a video is going to be lacking in quality based on the thumbnail. And that's not always going to be the case. There are plenty of times, I'm sure, where videos... I'm going to be doing some depth stuff, actually. Actually, I can do some of it now. I'm sure there are times where people have garbage thumbnails. just terrible thumbnails. And the videos are actually very, very good. I'm sure that happens. But statistically speaking, if you have a bad thumbnail, you probably have a bad video, and so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if the video's really good and you just gotta give it a chance. You gotta have a good thumbnail. You gotta make a good first impression. People talk about the whole judge a book by its cover thing a lot, and we say don't judge a book by its cover, but we do. we always judge books by their cover. We judge literal books by their cover. If I see a book with a stupid name or a stupid graphic on it, that's what I'm going to base my opinion on that book on. We are very fortunate to live in a time when we get to be a little bit picky about the media we consume. So I don't need to read your terrible looking book. So you gotta make your book look good. And the same applies for making online content. And that applies for anything. That's YouTube, that's probably TikTok. To be honest, I stay away from the short form stuff. Never appealed to me. But the YouTube stuff, at the very least, you got to focus on how your stuff is going to be seen before anyone even has the chance to see it. Because your first impression isn't, yeah, okay, I'll hit play on this video. The first impression is going to be, what's this guy's thumbnail about? And that's one of the reasons why I really despise thumbnails that are like, top 10 reasons why the Nintendo GameCube is actually bad. That kind of like rage bait. It's not necessarily even rage bait. It's just, you are setting me up to be mad, and I don't appreciate that. I don't like those types of thumbnails. I will stay away from those types of thumbnails. Because I'm sorry, you can't really come back from that to me. If that's your first impression, I don't care for a second impression. And that's kind of the other thing, is that you usually only get one impression. You're only going to get one person. Well, no, that's not what I mean by impression. That's what YouTube calls an impression, is like someone saw something to do with it. But what I mean is, most people are going to see your thumbnail, they're going to see your title, and that's all you get. That's what you got to put forward. And if that's not good enough, then it's not good enough, and then they're not going to watch the video. This has been my how to be a YouTuber video. Now I will point out that people have success different ways. People do YouTube different ways, and a lot of people are successful in completely different things. So do take what I'm saying with some salt. take it as sort of a, generally speaking, this is kind of how it is, rather than a rule, because yeah, it's a general advice thing, not a rule. I'm trying to sort of pad out this area here, give it a little bit of depth. Now it's flat. I need to, once Fauna's house is done, I can incorporate it a little bit better. So, anyway, yeah, if you want to be a YouTuber, here's my #1 tip, thumbnails. And I actually do think that thumbnails are the most important thing at this point. But the thing about that, and this is where I think a lot of, this is the other thing, this is the other element too, I can tell when YouTube is showing me a video that is not performing very well, because you either get videos where someone didn't even try to make a thumbnail, or or it's a video where it's like the most Mr. Beast thumbnail I've ever seen in my life, outside of a Mr. Beast thumbnail. Which is to say, trying so hard. The best thumbnails are the ones with confidence. The best thumbnails are the ones where it doesn't feel like they're trying to grab your attention. It feels like the video creator made what they wanted to make. They put the obvious thumbnail. It looks like they didn't even think about what thumbnail they were going to do. They just put it there. They just put the right thumbnail in there. Those are the thumbnails that really, I think, are successful. And that's kind of been part of my mentality with some of my thumbnail design. But again, I say, you know, it's not like I'm trying to really make this YouTube channel like super corporate. I'm not really trying to necessarily optimize it to the best of my ability. I want it to be like a fun little thing, basically. But you know, if you want to make your YouTube channel really corporate, suck all of the life out of what you're doing and make it really corporate. There's a mosquito. No, I don't want to get stung. I don't want the cutscene. No, but I do think, you know, the actual answer that I have there is about, you know, the whole making your channel feel corporate kind of thing is don't. As a general rule, the more personal your YouTube stuff feels, the more people will watch it. And I think that's the other thing that has sort of led to, I do worry sometimes about, like, what do people think of, like, the way that I put forward the stuff that I put out, because I don't want it to feel corporate. I don't want it to feel like I'm trying to make mass-produced Animal Crossing content. I don't like the term content creator. To me, it feels like I'm putting something out there for people to consume and for people to disregard immediately after. You know, I'm not making a sandwich. I'm not making something that I want people to just go, ah, yes, that's fine. I'm never going to think about you again now. I want to make something that people actually care about, and you know, I want to make something that people come back to watch, because I do that with certain people. I go back and I rewatch some of their older stuff, and I'd love to make stuff that people do the same thing with. I need to make a slope. I need to focus on making a slope real quick. I've done it. I have selected the right thing. Alright, so, yeah, I don't like the idea of, like, I make content. I make stuff for people to consume. You know, that's just, it turns what I think is a certain level of art and a certain level of creative expression, or even just regular expression. You know, you wouldn't call a conversation with a loved one content. And, you know, I'm not saying that I am a loved one, but I would like to feel a little bit more like, you know, am I improving your life in some way? That's kind of what I would like. In some small way. Yeah, that's all I ask. Just, you know, let me into your life and support me on Patreon. I don't have the money for Lloyd. But, you know, I do want people to come away from the stuff that I'm doing, and I want people to feel like I'm doing something that, you know, maybe you get a good idea for your own Animal Crossing town, or something else that you're working on. You know, I think a lot of the stuff that I say, it probably applies to things like Minecraft and other games like that. You know, anything that gives you, like, creativity, anything like that, you know, you can take some advice that I built for Animal Crossing and that might be applicable. You know, if something that I say makes someone else's Minecraft build look better, then that's awesome, and I'm thrilled about that. Let's see. I made a lot more progress on this than I expected to. I will say, I mentioned at the start that I thought that the layout was different from what it was, and I have had to tweak this. I've had to tweak this a lot to fit the reality of my layout. I'm not sure what I was hoping to do with the river here, but I'm not doing it now. Because, yeah, we don't have very much river left, do we? Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah, we got like 2 squares there. That might just have to sort of... I think we're just gonna have to call that a future problem. This river has been a future problem since day 2. Oh, no. But, yeah, I'm actually quite happy with how this came out. So, yeah, anyway. Is there more for me to say, or was I just rambling in the first place? The main point of what I was saying is definitely videos are sort of on infrequent. That is the new schedule for videos, which is unfortunate. And that's one of those things that I really do hope that I can come back and make videos on a regular basis again. I honestly don't even really like saying I hope that I can, because it's sort of giving me an out. You know, if I decide, oh, I don't really want to record, I'm not really feeling it, I'm just not gonna do it, then great, now I've given myself an out. Because I say I would like to get back to a regular video schedule. I don't want to do that, and I do really genuinely hope that I can get back to a regular schedule. I enjoy making these videos, and you know, I don't want the takeaway being, oh, he's looking for any excuse. I'm not right now, because I'm doing it. No, oh dear, that was not a good angle to shovel. Okay, I think the lantern is working here. No, I enjoy making these videos, and I want to make them. That's one of those things where, you know, talking about the financial aspect to the YouTube stuff, because I do think that that's an angle that a lot of people... What bug was that? When it was flying away, it looked like a firefly. But the financial angle of YouTube stuff is something that, you know, we all know, you know, sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. We know that. We've heard the sponsors. We know people make money on YouTube. And... okay, it's not fossil. Thank goodness. We know that people make money on YouTube. It's not a secret. And I don't want to sit here and go, you know, oh yeah, I'm doing whatever, and leaving people not really knowing, like, okay, what's with the schedule? What's with, you know, this or that or whatever? Don't you make money on this? You link to your Patreon every so often, and you know, the answer is, for me, YouTube has reached kind of a point where I'm not going to say I will never ever make money on it. I'm not going to say that you will never see a sponsored video on this channel, but you're not going to see one for a while. And that's just the nature of it for me and for a lot of people. And so the answer for where have the videos been, why haven't there been any new videos for a while, it is unfortunately the financial aspect. The aspect where YouTube does not pay me. YouTube is not really even very close to paying me, and apparently, I didn't look into this because I kind of gave up on it anyway, but apparently YouTube has now raised their minimums, their minimum like stats to make money, which stinks. It really stinks, and it's one of those things where, again, you know, it's one of those things that I really just I don't like the way that YouTube is run. Welcome to the tech industry. It kind of stinks right now, and that's the nature of it. I don't like it. I wish I want to say this first. I wish any and all YouTubers the best with the way that YouTube handles everything. To be honest with you, it's really irritating. You know, it's really frustrating. One of the big components that has led to me going, I don't know, I may be able to continue doing something very similar to what I had been doing for my work, but there's a reason why I say I don't know, and it's because I don't have anyone to talk to. And I don't mean in like a therapy way, I mean in terms of like the employer, the business side. There's no one to talk to, and YouTube is very similar in that regard. You know, YouTube, it really is it's you're working for a ghost. You're working for the whims of an electronic ghost that decides this will be successful, this won't be successful. We're getting into the luck element, which I was trying to talk against. But yeah, you're at the whims of, in some ways, you are at the whims of luck, because sometimes things will get demonetized for no reason, and what are you gonna do about it? And that's one of the things that really, you know, as much as I look at the YouTube stuff and I go, oh, it would be so nice if that was my job and I could make Animal Crossing videos and, you know, the other types of videos that I make, and that was my job. I would love that from a creativity standpoint, but I would also, I think, kind of go insane because you're at the whims of the unfortunate answer. You're at the whims of AI. I love technology. Anyway, that's just kind of the grim the grim reality of what YouTube is like these days. It's a company that, hi, sorry about your shins. What do you need? What are her favorite reactions? Laughter? I couldn't laugh until now. Oh dear. This is gonna end on a grim note if I keep this up. What's a positive note? The positive note is I'm still doing this stuff. Yeah, here's a new video. It's been a month. Oh no, we're back to the grim. Let's assess some fossils. I'm gonna get some bushes, because I need bushes. I said that I was like done with the terraforming. I am done with the terraforming, but it turns out I need resources like bushes and trees, and I'm hoping I get some from my Cap'n Island. Please don't be a thunderstorm. Oh wow, I really thought it would be a thunderstorm. I can also get some wheat while I'm here, which I don't believe I've ever had before. Let's see. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time here. Salad. Salad. Uh-huh. Sick. Not going to spend a lot of time here because I don't have a whole lot to say. So how's your day been? Uh-huh. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know what you were saying. I shouldn't I shouldn't pull you along like that. I don't know what you said. But yeah, I'm happy for you on that. Anyway, let's go back to the island now. Wow, we're back on the we're back. I always get confused with on the island or at the island. We're back on at the island. Huzzah! I got good grief. I got some bushes. I got 3 in particular. These stupid ants. Okay, in the last video, I made this ant trail, and I'm telling you, I could not get the ants to spawn on that video, and they have been here almost every single time that I've walked past. It might be because there's not as many bugs out because it's nighttime, although butterflies are starting to spawn, so I don't know. I blame bad luck. I need to do terraforming as well. Alright, so we're gonna do a little bit of brushing here. Just my main goal. I'm sorry. I can tell my designer voice is coming out. My main goal here with the ground isn't to like finish my thoughts. My main intention with the ground here, like I put down the dirt pattern here. The main reason for that is because I wanted to make it visually interesting. So like, I'll point out an example over by the ant trail in a second. Now I have to go over to the ant trail. We'll see if the ants are still there. Hopefully they are. Nope, sick. So I put down the dirt path to sort of imply the existence of a trail there. That's what that is for. What I'm doing over here with the bushes is not that. I'm putting down the dirt path only really to imply the existence of like a different ground texture. Keep in mind, Fauna's house is going to be here once things are set in place. So yeah, that's not going to be like, I was thinking for a second about putting dirt like here, but I don't really want that. I think just having a strip here along the wall is doing fine for that. And we are going to put our last bush here. And that's just something to divide the houses a little bit. I don't know if this is a Paradise planning feature or if it's a regular in-game feature. But I can basically redecorate the exterior of... I've got cockroaches. Oh, I had cockroach. Yay. Anyway, I can redo the exterior of Fauna's house, so I will do that probably at some point, just because it doesn't really fit with Bam's house, and I think Bam's house is a little bit closer to what I'm after. I went the wrong way. Boy, I know I said this in a fairly recent video, but I said this in the past, I think in response to either Pokopia or Tomodachi Life. Either way, oh, it's so nice to be back in Animal Crossing. This is genuinely something that I enjoy doing. I do enjoy making these videos. I enjoy talking about my creative process. There's a frog? I don't think that's a frog, but I can't remember what it is. What are you? Giant water bug. Alright, I hate you. I hate you dearly. No, but I really do enjoy making these videos and just kind of working within Animal Crossing. You know, it's one of those games that I know that a lot of people don't really like the town design aspect of Animal Crossing. And I can understand that, and I can... I absolutely respect it. At the same time, man, when you can really like make your space, it's so nice. It's so nice to make like a nice little space. I am thinking this might get revoked later. I might pull back on this, but I got some wheat on the island, and I'm gonna try planting it here, just to make it a little bit interesting looking. This might look bad. I'm willing to accept that possibility, but you never know if you don't try. You never shine if you don't fly. Hey now. You're an all-star. Alright. I think that I've done what I can until Fauna moves in. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to finish things up before this video comes out, which means you're seeing that I'm recording it on Friday, August 21st, so this video is probably coming out in a couple of days from then. Because what I want to do is I want to move Fauna's house where it will be, and I want to sort of clean up the backdrop a little bit, because right now, you've seen what I've done in this video, where I built up this cliff. I made it sort of hug the valley a little bit, so it kind of, you know, Fauna's house and Bam's house are sort of tucked in there. And I'm basically going to just extend this out a bit more, like take it maybe down here. And then build up the top part, make it look a little bit nicer. Basically, I'm going to be doing more of what I already did. Probably connect it to up here so that it feels a bit more organic. And that's going to be it. So, I am going to wrap it up here. That being said, you're going to see... I'm going to make it so that the outro is going to be this valley place, the Valley of Deer. I might also finish up this ramp. I actually need to point out why I'm building a ramp here. Animals can't hop these, so if you encase your animals in one of these hoppable little creek things, they're not going to be able to jump over it. Now, animals can sort of teleport where they need to be, so like if you find that all your animals are on the plaza, even if they shouldn't have access to the plaza, they can kind of teleport where the game wants them to be. I want to give them a proper way. So that's why I'm doing it this way. I'm building a little natural ramp to make it so they can get up here and go around over there. And also it makes the town a bit more walkable. Anyway, here's the completed Valley of Deer in like 2 days from now.